The silence is deafening. Students hunch over their desks, eyes flicking between the clock and the test in front of them. The room is silent, except for the tapping of pencils and the occasional heavy sigh. This isn't a test of creativity. It's not about critical thinking. This is standardized testing. I remember these days clearly. The pressure felt like a weight, like a heavy blanket smothering any excitement about learning. These tests weren't about true understanding, they were about performance, reducing everything we learned to multiple choice questions, filling in bubbles A, B, C, or D. And I'm not the only one who feels this way. Millions of students have been measured, labeled, and limited by a system that values memorization over meaning and conformity over curiosity. Standardized testing has become a defining feature of American education. It all started with well-meaning policies like the No Child Left Behind Act in 2001 and later the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA, signed in 2015. These laws were designed to promote accountability and close achievement gaps, but in practice, they've often done the opposite. Under the pressure to raise scores, teachers are forced to narrow their focus, teaching test strategies instead of nurturing real learning. The joy of discovery and the thrill of creativity are replaced by drills and worksheets. And here's the thing, the results aren't just there. According to the nation's report card, 4th grade math scores have barely moved since the ESSA began. Years of testing, and students are still stuck at the same basic levels. This should raise alarm bells. Harvard professor Daniel Quartz, one of the leading experts on education testing, has been sounding the alarm for years. He argues that standardized testing gives us a false sense of progress. They measure only a narrow slice of what students need to know and often lead to teaching shortcuts that don't build real understanding. He warns that when students are trained to memorize tricks instead of deeply learning concepts, they're set up to struggle in the real world. And then there's Sir Ken Robinson, who once compared our education system to Death Valley. Nothing grows because the conditions are wrong. In his TED Talk, How to Escape Education's Death Valley, he explains this rigid test-focused system kills creativity and disengages students. His message? Real learning only happens when we create the right environment for it. When we give students room to explore, room to make mistakes, and room to think for themselves. So the question is, why are we still doing this? If we look around the world, we see better models. Finland, for example, ranks among the top in global education. Without an obsession of standardized testing, their secret, prioritizing student well-being, personalized learning, and not forcing teachers to teach the tests. They trust teachers to do their job. These countries show us that it's possible. We can rethink education, we can move beyond test scores, and we can focus on what really matters. Because students aren't scantrons. Students are thinkers, and students are dreamers, and students are innovators, and they deserve an education that treats them that way. To learn more on how to solve this problem and find out more information, I'll provide a link in the description. Thank you.